What's up? What's up, Golson? This ugly ass nigga Bradford. Kari, what's good? So violence. I'm trying to give folks a little bit of time, but shit, I ain't missing it. Look like I ain't too many commentators, so I can start this shit soon. All right, fuck it. Let's go ahead and get started. So I was just like I said, I ain't gonna lie, was slick scrambling trying to find these topics. To be honest with you, but I, was able to successfully just go through and be like, fuck it, let's add this, came up with something. So we're gonna just go over the best crew of the Power Universe. Basically, we're gonna be dealing with all of them. We had a couple of crews that we know of. We got the Ghost crew. You got whatever Tariq's crew would be called, I guess. And that would kind of include the Tejadas. You got, I guess, and as far as Ghost Crew, let's be a little bit more specific. Or I can ask y'all, what do y'all think? As far as Ghost Crew, would 2-Bit be considered part of, and Kanan, I guess, as well? Would they be considered part of Ghost Crew? And then you got Tommy, who would kind of have his own as well, because I think you got to kind of count his forest crew. Yeah, but you know, Tommy's crew was Ghost Crew. Because 2-Bit never would have came around if it wasn't for Dre. Dre was part of the Ghost Crew. I mean, Dre, even though it's kind of weird to say it, because Dre never would have came on board. You know what I'm saying? He never would have got involved with them if it wasn't for Ghost, right? That's the only reason why he got connected with that's the only reason why he got connected with Tommy. And Tommy, of course, is the only reason why 2-Bit was connected to him. Right. That's what I'm saying. So since Two Bit is part of Dre's crew, Dre was part of Ghost, kind of, right? If Two Bit came to Chicago, it would have been. I think it could have been a more appealing story for sure. At least for sure, if he was a part of season one, for sure. Like he definitely should have had him part of season one. I don't know, bro. I think Dre is part of Ghost Crew. I see y'all don't agree, but I think he is. And then keep this in mind too. You also can include the lawyers and stuff too, because for sure Joe Proctor is part of Ghost Crew, which also would mean Angela Valdez is part of Ghost Crew. So he got a federal prosecutor on his side, plus, um, um, you know, um, a really, good criminal defense lawyer as well. Kind of, you can add Terry Silver to that crew as well. You know what I'm saying? Then I guess we won't add Ramona. We're not gonna add them because you know Angela and Ramona doesn't coexist together. But still, you would have Joe Proctor, and then let's say, hold on. So what about Kanan? Is Kanan part of Ghost Crew or no? I need answers for that. That's not true though. Dre wasn't. Dre was only a double agent after he figured out that Kanan was still alive. Once he thought Kanan was out of here, he was fully committed to Ghost. He only went back to Kanan because he kind of felt like he had to. Tasha had her own crew. Who the fuck is Tasha's crew? Kanan is part of his own crew. So if Kanan is part of his own crew, who is his crew? Because I don't know nobody that's part of his crew. And also, let's keep in mind we got the Raising Kanan set too. So you got the Thomas family. So they would be considered a crew. I guess you can say unique crew, but you asked me unique crew is not too tough. I mean, I don't know. I guess we got to kind of wait to see what the New Jersey mob, is about. But so far, we haven't seen much of them, right? Them DC niggas and Dre and okay, I get what you mean. You talking about for Kanan? You talking about the girls that cut Tasha? Come on, Tasha ain't got no crew. We not even about to count that. So these are what we doing. We got Ghost Crew. I guess you can say Kanan had a crew too. Kanan did have a crew, so I guess he's not a part of Ghost Crew, but Tommy is. And then you got the Thomas family. You got Unique's crew. Who else? I feel like we're forgetting somebody. You got Tommy's crew in Forest. Kanan was never in Tasha. Of course not. Who the fuck said that? Tasha goes Tommy, and then Tommy goes Julio. Arthur was loyal to Ghost. He didn't like Tommy after when he stabbed at Homeland Security agent in his own house. Yeah, he was afraid of that nigga, so. You said, where is Solo? Solo don't do these late night lives. Liliana and Tommy. Yeah, but let's be real. They gonna get quick work wearing on their ass. So if you want to add, so let's add let's say you add Diamond to Tommy's crew. Because I mean technically he was for majority of the series. So just with all that we've named so far, who would y'all say the RSKs? Yeah, the RSK was slow though. Let's be real. But who would y'all say is the strongest crew of all of them? And who is the slowest? Who had the weakest crew? The RSKs damn near was the nah. Hey, hold on. The RSK, did the RSKs do anything? Yeah, the RSKs right now might be the weakest crew, right? I'm trying to think if it's anyone that's potentially weaker. Nah, low key. If you want to go that deep, low key, Milan had the strongest crew. You right. It might be Mecca. But Mecca's crew is, wasn't stronger than Noma's though, right? Right now we're talking about TV shows. Nah, we're not going show by show right now. I'm just doing all of them. RSKs used to own territory from Kanan that he gave to Ghost and Tommy. Yeah, but that don't make their crew powerful really. So I'm kind of like what I'm trying to do. Like at least you can say with the what's the name of Cristobal and them crew? Shit, Tainos. At least you can say with the Tainos. Oh, you don't own the TV? Damn. At least you can say with the Tainos, that they at least did something. You kind of knew some numbers. Talking about the best crews of power, the strongest crews of power universe, and the weakest crew. Yeah, Ruiz's crew was the Soldados. The Cristobal's crew was the shit. What's the name of them folks? Yeah, I can't think of it right now. Tainos. That was the name of them. But see, at least the Tainos, they sprung on Marcus. At least one of they niggas sprung on Marcus, so they get them some points. Armenez cartel, yeah, they had a strong crew too, for sure. So hold on, who had the strongest? What was the strongest like cartel? The Armenez cartel did have everybody scared for sure. And like the Force cartels really was trash. They didn't really do shit but make threats. Really, they didn't really do nothing. Like the Armenez cartels, they did shit. What about Carter's crew? My nigga Don Carter. Because you got to think about this is the first crew that's actually law enforcement. So y'all got to consider that. So, what is 1984 about? I think I remember hearing about that movie. Ghost and Tommy together didn't have a crew. They had an organization way more powerful. That's what I'm saying. Carter crew was cold. You said Lorenzo don't get no love on this shot. Yeah, Lorenzo. Cause bro, Lorenzo was a pump fake. That's why. This nigga, they had us thinking government surveillance. So basically, what are they telling you how they're watching you, or what exactly is going on? Yeah, everybody wish we had more Lorenzo for sure. Pete's niggas did have a crew. Nah, she really didn't. Pete's niggas was one woman job, but she was serving. But I mean, she did have the dude with her, the first episode. He just got his ass served. Well, a lot of them that was at Lorenzo's party, well, some of them got taken out. Because remember, the one dude was disloyal. So they took him out. And then, because remember, Jew and Lorenzo took him out. Then after that, the dude that they were trying to put in second, that was second command, tried to give him the number one spot. They ended up turning on them too because they tried to work for Mecca. So Kane and Drew ended up taking them out. No, it's a movie from the past about the time we live in now. A lot of life will make sense to you once you watch 1984. I wonder where I can watch it on. Let me see. You kind of got me a little interested. Let's see, it got Pluto up here. Amazon. All right, I might try to check it out. Pink Sneakers only caught one body the whole time she was introduced, which was Annabelle. She missed every target. Katie said to take out. That is true. And they was talking. It's crazy because we actually, you know, we praise her like she was just so cold, but it's crazy if you really do think about it. She did only take out one person, and the rest of them she kept missing them. Like, of course, she missed Ghost. She tried Ruiz, was unsuccessful with that. She tried to get Cruz. I think no, that's not Cruz. Um, whatever the dude that was trying to make the delivery in the first season that she was, chasing behind, he ended up getting away though. So obviously she missed him. So yeah, that's true. She was family. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's an old movie if it's called 1984. I'm pretty sure. Oh, you talking about watching 1984 in Discord? That'd be cool. Oh yeah, and slash Liliana. And I only give Pink Sneakers credit for giving Liliana a backstory, but that is it. Yeah. But still, all right, so let's take out organizations, right? Like big organizations like the Jimenez, the Lobos crew. Everybody had a big organization, Mecca, all of them. The people that just pretty much had street niggas. Who was the strongest organization? If you watch it with a large crowd, it will blow your minds about the time we live in right now. Well, y'all hear him. Ali, we should definitely watch that on Discord. Get the people together. Just make sure it's during the time that I'm actually available so I can watch this shit. Yeah, just let me know when. So we judge by those standards. I think Ghost got the strongest crew. Got to be Ghost. But I'm open to any disputes because I know y'all some Ghost haters. So somebody let me know why it's not Ghost. If you think it's not, and explain to me why it isn't. Because I would say the H crew is definitely stronger than the Thomas family. It's stronger than Kanan's crew. They're definitely stronger than the Tejadas and Tariq and his crew. Stronger than Tommy's crew in Force. Yeah, I would say stronger than Unique's crew. Anybody else? Anybody got some disputes? Yeah, for sure. OG, I would definitely agree. OG had the better crews. It's on Prime. Release date was 1985. Okay. Yeah, I saw that it was on Prime when I looked. Anyway, though, let's go ahead and move. I'm gonna move on because I can't be. I'm not gonna be up that long in a way. But yeah, I did want to go ahead and do it. It's bad. We're gonna talk about the greatest liability now. Pretty much, we're dealing with all the shows, and I know a couple of people that came to mind. So Western Holdings was the best crew. They ran off with crazy money and were never held accountable. I guess you could say they had the biggest finesse. So, who was the biggest liability? Like we can talk about all four shows, right? A lot of the people had people around them that was kind of liability, but basically the love of whoever was around them basically was they down always they downfall. If they ended up getting taken out, well, even if they are still currently alive, it's like they keep holding them back. We got a lot of cases of this. So, to give a few examples of what I'm speaking of, I can make a very strong argument that Ghost had, although I would say all of them were assets to him to a degree as well. You can also make an case to say that Tommy was a very big liability to the Ghost in the original Power, although he did have benefits. I mean, let's be real. That's what Lobos said. Lobos wanted Ghost to take out Tommy because he thought he was a liability. Now I knew we was gonna get some Angie hate in these comments. I said that was coming in my head. What's good, bro? Now Tommy called Angela a liability. So I'm gonna put it like this: Angela was a liability in the street life, but in the legit life, she obviously wasn't. And even to a degree, with the street life, she can protect him in certain ways by, of course, being a part of law enforcement. She could, get him out of certain type of trouble. Don't watch no more clothes. Hell yeah. Unique's crew getting arrested in season 2 opener was wasted up. Hmm. So we got Tommy, we got Angela, as far as being liabilities to Ghost, but it was more of them out there than just that. Shit, you low key can make a case that Tariq in the original Power was a liability. I mean, look at what that fool was doing. He was responsible for taking out pretty much all of the big characters of the original Power. Then you can move on. We can go to book 2. in book 2, who would y'all say was the biggest liability of book 2? Maybe. I mean, I thought about Lauren, but you said Lauren and Braden. I mean, yeah. Although Kane was dumb, I don't know if we can say he was a liability because he was still very beneficial in other ways. Like obviously, if you like his dad said, if you needed an enforcer, he was very liable at that. Lauren was a liability because I mean, let's be real, she couldn't really defend herself. She needed you to defend her. She couldn't defend herself at all. So low key is probably Lauren. But I'm gonna try to keep thinking. Ali, how are you saying Carter? Reed didn't take out anyone unnecessary in book 2. Yeah, Reed was very reliable in book 2. Everybody was dependent on that nigga in that one. So definitely can't make a case for him in book 2. But the original, yeah. But that's the problem though. She ended up getting mixed up with Tariq and she couldn't defend herself once she was in the trouble. I mean, look at what happened. She almost got all of them arrested. If it wasn't for, her going ahead and trusting Tariq so that he could fix it, all of them would either got arrested or one of them would ended up getting to her to kill her. Kane planted a badge to get Tariq arrested, which could have backfired on the whole family if Tariq decided to rat. Also, don't forget all the times Kane got the family caught in a lot of bullshit. I get all of that, but we're making the case for who is the biggest liability, not the biggest fuck up. If you want to say the biggest fuck up, then yeah, you can make a very strong case for Kane. So Dre, I can't say Dre was a liability in my opinion in the original because he was valuable. He knew how to move product when they needed him to. Was he a snake? Absolutely. You had to watch his ass. But I mean, he still was reliable to a degree because he knew how to move product. He was a good asset when it came to that. You just gotta pay attention because he's a little lad might try to snake you so that he can be on top. You know what? That's a good one, Scotty boy. You could throw L little ass up in there too because he was a liability to because he knew information and he could have potentially took the family down and Drew was keeping his ass alive. I mean, it ended up working out. Shit. The most pointless kill. I wouldn't say it was pointless. It was I mean, was it a bad decision? Perhaps, like perhaps maybe wasted character. Yeah, the Anna killing Felicia was more damaging to Carter. Hmm. Yeah, Zeke to a degree was a liability. Yeah, because when it comes to street life, he couldn't defend himself. But I mean, at least he was viable, as in he was good at basketball. So if he could have finally made it through school and got to the NBA. He could have benefited that way. That's true. Dre is the reason that Tariq got involved with Kanan, sure. But at the same time, um, it wouldn't. I still don't say that's a liability. You know, with the liability, we're basically talking about people who were just useless. Book two started off with Tasha in jail behind Tariq. Then Tariq fumbled his inheritance. Then Tariq had to smoke Jabari because he figured out Tariq was a campus criminal. Tariq also screwed Brady. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Braden. Yeah, Braden definitely helped him out a lot on a lot of stuff. So I can't just say he was a liability. Also there, look, shit. Another liability was both of two of Braden's motherfucking girlfriends. The first one, what's her name? Um, Riley, and then the last one, what was her name? What was the last one name? L. Yeah. At least Kiki was, smart, and she could benefit somewhat with the, working with the Western Holdings business and stuff. But L and Riley, them motherfuckers didn't have nothing. Especially L. L was a bigger liability than Riley because L was getting cold. She was damn near borderline, probably would snitch. She was trying to turn Reek and Braden away from, trying to make them turn on each other and stuff. Yeah, it was definitely her. All right, so and raising Kanan, who was the biggest liability? I mean, for a while, you could somewhat say in season three, it was you can make a strong case for Lou, but for the best of the show, I would say no, not him. You can say to a degree it was Kanan motherfucking ass, but probably motherfucking famous ass down there. Who is the biggest liability to their own family's collapse? That's a good one. You got Reek. You got Rock, Marvin, or Kane. Shoot. How does Marvin play in this? Because I don't really see nothing that I can think of the reason why Marvin can be a beneficiary of the collapse of the Thomas family. Now, Kane, I can see how you can say that for the Tejadas. And Rock, I can somewhat see what you mean with her with the Thomas as well. So probably Kane, because we know that his bad decisions led to the death of Monet. As you said, famous, and then Scotty Boy says famous, but not really. Yeah. How long? How running getting this? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Marvin killing Styles' son was big. That's true. Yeah, I forgot about this shit. What are you saying Ghost and Monet to? Kanan screwed his entire family the moment he shot Buck 20. Yeah, a lot of shit did go down after that. All right, damn. Hey, well, yeah, I'm sleepy as fuck because I ain't go to sleep last night like I should have. And damn, and I didn't take no naps in that. That is true. It wasn't really Marvin's fault. You're right, Talia. Junk ran his mouth to scrap mom and 1 foot in and out the game. Keeps falling in love. If we want to talk about between the Thomas siblings, then yeah, it would easily be Luke. He's been your family for 10 minutes. I've been your family for your whole damn life. Come on, man. Twice is a loose thing. Yeah, that nigga Tommy was bullshitting. Like, especially in season 4, Tommy was bullshitting like and 5. No, it was 5, really. He was bullshitting in 4, but that nigga was really bullshitting in 5 as well. Trusting Teresa the way he was doing. Y'all know what? And this is random. This I'm just a little off topic, but I want to bring it up. Well, no, it is relevant actually. back to because we're back talking about liabilities. We low key can make a strong case that it's Tommy too, bro. Like I already said this, but I want to add another pointer to how big of a liability to Ghost Tommy really was. Think about this. I can make a very strong case right now that what happened between him and Tariq never would have happened if it wasn't for Tommy. Because Tommy, really what happened, yeah, I can make a very strong case. And it all goes down to when Tommy stabbed that Homeland Security dude, Bailey Mark. If he didn't do that, that changed a lot of things. Think about this. That the tape was what well actually that tape would have been bad though, I ain't gonna lie. I mean maybe that he could have found a better way of you know, or even though here's another thing. Forget stabbing the Homeland Security agent. If he would have never stabbed Ruiz as well, because that's actually the beginning of it. Because the Bailey Markham situation never would have happened if he didn't stab Ruiz. And low key, you can kind of put Tasha at fault with this too, because Tasha was the one who told Tommy that Ghost had a plan with Ruiz. Now, whether or not that plan would have worked or not, I mean, you know, that's anybody's guess. We really can't say. Y'all can let me know what y'all think. But I think his Ghost plan was pretty solid. He probably could have gotten Milan locked up and deported, but that way though, Milan is still alive. And you gotta think about it. With him still being alive, he's able to potentially make moves to still affect them. So who knows? Maybe that wasn't the best of ideal with that situation, but either way, the tape came from him killing Luis, and then after that, he made the mistake and stabbed the Homeland Security dude in the middle of the damn apartment of Joe Proctor, and that tape that he had Ghost broke into Greg Knox's apartment to get the tape with the Ruiz shit on it. If he didn't ever stab Ruiz, Ghost never would have had to go into that apartment. Ghost never would have had to go into that apartment. He never would have got arrested for, the murder of Greg Knox. Because they would have never, Angie never would have got his fingerprints on the fire escape where she found it at. And if Ghost is never put in prison, Kanan doesn't get to hang out with Tariq the way he was doing because Ghost would have been there to pay more attention to him. And then also keep in mind at the end, keep in mind if Tariq's not able to hang out with Kanan as much, he probably never gets into that situation with Ray Ray. That means Ray Ray never shoots Raina. And if he never shoots Raina, then of course, she's now still alive. And it probably never would have led to the Tariq and Ghost situation, maybe. So yeah, I don't know. Very strong case for Tommy. Ruiz down to trust Ghost. He should have stayed gone with his family as a janitor. I don't know if I'll say it was dumb because Ghost, for the most part, well, I don't know. He came back because of Greg Knox, not because of Ghost. Was it a dumb idea for him to trust Ghost in his plan? I don't know. Ghost is the one that got Ruiz to safety in the first place. Right. Facts. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Now we're gonna go with who had the best character development. So they started off from point A to point B. Who basically had the best shakeup? Like, well, the best, like, okay, it was like this, and this led to this. So I would say absolutely Tariq's character development in the original Power, really both of them, wasn't the strongest. Like, I liked what I seen Tariq like in Force when he, the one episode he showed up. And cause I don't know, it seemed like he had another level of maturity and certain stuff that went on. He seemed a little different. So if I had to guess on who I think had the best character development of all of them, I mean, Ghost character development was kind of good. It was pretty solid. Uh, I'm kind of leaning towards you said Kanan. So I don't think Kanan is a bad pick. Are we speaking of young Kanan or are we speaking of OG Kanan? I would assume you got to be talking about young Kanan. And I don't think it's a bad pick. Do I think it's the right one? No. Because I think Jukebox character development is pretty damn good so far. How we seeing her gradually turn to the OG Jukebox. And they're giving us a good storyline that's making them become it. I do think Kanan is a good pick too, for sure. Young Kanan, all of the stuff that he's been through, seeing his mother lying to him and how his family and stuff move, you see him gradually each season, growing darker and darker. So for sure. But then I can say the same can be said for, Jukebox. All of the stuff that she done dealt with, the pain of losing people she cared about, losing her career as, her first dream of being a singer. And then, of course, losing her mother, then losing her friend like famous. This character development to me is Kanan. Young Kanan is trash compared to character who people fell in love with. Well, we got to also, consider what the character development is. So basically, them developing throughout the show. Like one of the greatest, I would say, to me, the show that of dramas of all dramas that I've been seeing, that I've seen myself, probably the best show at it, in my opinion, that I can think of right now is Game of Thrones. Like the character development on on that show with multiple of characters was just incredible. Another great example of an excellent character development would I could reference another show that would be Snowfall with Franklin Saint. Even Leon as well. Great character developments. Really all of them. Jerome's character didn't move that much, but I mean somewhat did. The same can be said with Louis. Her character went great. Even Sizzy, even Teddy, all of them. Great character development. But Kanan, OG Kanan, for the most part, he stayed the same the whole time. Was he likable? Sure. Everybody loved Kanan. But I would say his character didn't much really change. Like when we first really got to know him in season 2, he was a grimy, gritty, powerful street hustler. And then when he died in season 5, he was the same thing. Like he didn't really change very much. He just was likable. Honestly, you can make a case for Tommy, but his would just date back further. Because if you look at the Tommy in the original Power, how he was just over emotional, always just going in there without thinking and making emotional moves. And then you get him on Force now. Tommy on Force is totally different from the Tommy that you see in the original Power. As far as like, him thinking and shit. Another character that grew a lot to me was Jewel. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, I would say Diana had a better character development than Jewel. Jewel kind of stayed the same to me too. Even Kane kind of, had one. Because you could see him sort of learning after Mecca. And then he kind of got back stupid in season 4, so I guess not. More so. But yeah, Diana was a sweetheart to a degree, when we first met her in season 1. And then she kind of grew darker. Then, of course, in season 4, she became, a bitch. Yeah, he could have been, everything would have been fine if Tasha didn't tell Tommy about the plan. Then again, Ghost messed up by telling us. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was saying. But still, though, that's his wife. I guess he thought he could tell her, and her ass gonna tell Tommy. She's great. You said the Anna character morphed into a killer overnight. Her development was trash and so unrealistic. So I could somewhat rock what you're saying, the trash, I guess, because of how quickly it happened. But I mean, they did give you some major turning of events that turned her to it. Because keep in mind, it's in her blood. Her father was a killer, her mother was a killer. And then the first major step was, of course, losing her baby. That can send you crazy. Then on top of that, icing on the cake, she's seen her mother killed in cold blood. So I think that's enough to really make somebody explode and become a killer. Now you hating. Look at that thing flying so low. Marvin is my favorite character development. So his was cool, you know. First he was didn't give a fuck and stuff like that. Especially seeing his relationship with Jude. That obviously, you know, grew a whole lot. Uh, what about Diamond on Force? He went for Tommy, you know, you don't do this. And you we gonna do that. Then he became drunk driving. All of them. So what about your boy Diamond, y'all? Or Jannard? Let's look at Jannard too. I mean, Jannard was a hater in the beginning. He still remains a hater. But you know, seeing them transitioning over on the drugs and stuff like that was still cool. Oh shit! What time is it? 11. Yeah, they got Diamond. Anyway, y'all, I know this is crazy. This one was short. I'm gonna try to do another one tomorrow, but my ass is about to tap out. But anyway, hold on. Let me read a few comments. I feel like I missed. The honor been developing since the first season. Monet was already grooming her to be a future queen fan under our noses. That's true to a degree. So with Jannard starting out not on drugs and then getting on drugs, wouldn't that take his character development backwards? Um, I mean, mm, right character digressed the most. I don't know about that. think Rock's character, in my opinion, stayed the same kind of. It didn't really change a whole lot, but it also didn't digress either, in my opinion. Yeah, yeah, for sure. It can be a positive or a negative, for sure. It's just how it shapes up, and then whenever we get to see the ending of that character, you be like, damn, it started off here and it led to this. How good was the storyline of that character, and that led to that person's end? Like, you can't really follow it too much for the smaller characters, obviously, because they don't get enough screen time to tell the story of how you know they ended up getting to where they're at. Um, but if I had to say who had the best of, let's see, the best character development of all of them of Power, it could be Tommy. Could be. Probably because he's one of the main characters that's been around the most. And we got to see him from every point. But you can make the same case for Tariq to a degree. You also can make a strong case for Tasha as well. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie to you, like, I'm tired as fuck out of nowhere. Like, literally out of nowhere. But like I said, it's probably because I didn't really go to sleep. Nah, she ain't blowing me up. Yeah, we almost done with Power Rewatch. What show you moving on to after Power? Nah, I ain't finna keep screaming. I'm about to get up off this bitch. My ass is tired. Then the worst part is that, like I said, I didn't really sleep last night. So we're gonna raise Kanan next. That's great. Going to the greatest. But but yeah, like I said, didn't go to sleep yet, and then I gotta get up early again today. Well, tomorrow or whatever. So yeah, I gotta get up out here. Try to get me in at least 4 hours. So anyway, I'm gonna catch everybody though, but I'm gonna try. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do one again tomorrow, but I'll be way more energetic and hopefully have some better topics. You said you don't think you can watch sports again? Damn. Why? Why is that? Season 3 was good. Four's not that bad. You know what I'm saying? Four's is good. Season 1 was, solid. Season 2 was good, and then season 3 was pretty damn good. But Raising Kanan obviously is better. Force, the problem with Force was the storyline. It kind of was all over the place, especially with how season 1 was, and then comparing it to the season 2 and 3, it just was different. All right, so for sure, make sure you share those topics with me for tomorrow. Help me out. That'd be great. Yeah, I like season 3, so you can't be talking about me. I was just taking up saying season 3 was good. Cool, cool. Yeah, make sure you send them just to me. All right, with Brian for coming his little legs in here, that is the cue to go ahead and get logged off. But yep, I'm gonna catch you good people tomorrow.